Okay. Just checking. So, this is important because I show this a lot. I've shown this a lot in my life. I don't do it all the time because it does need the right location. But I swear only half the people, or less than half the people that I show this exercise have actually done it. So, and I'm not showing you so you can watch me do this. I know how to do this already. I'm showing this because you will benefit. Alright? There is a lot of things you can learn on the beach. There are a lot of sail handling stuff, which we're going to do now. There's a lot of tricks. There's a lot of stuff that you can get wired on the beach before you ever get out on the water. Right? And then if you have a plethora of gear, like the Nedster, then you can go out and get the next big board out and practice on the big board and the small sail, and then work the board down and the sail up until it applies to, you know, what you want to be doing doing the move on. But it starts on the beach. What we need for sail chi is clear wind. This is not ideal. The wind's a little bit from the east, so I don't feel a lot of wind down here. It's going to make this not look as cool as it could. You need clear wind and a way to attach your sail to the ground. You do not need water. If you have an old POS board at home, you can use that. If you don't, go down to Home Depot and buy a little piece of wood and drill a hole in it and screw your mast base onto it, and maybe make another hole or two to nail it to the ground. And if you're really into it, you can trace your board and cut it out and, you know, put foot straps on it and make an actual land board. And I have seen students make a balance beam sail chi simulator and actually take a 2x6 and raise it off the ground and do sail chi on the balance beam, which seems like if I busted my ankle doing this on the ground, I'd be pretty unhappy. I can't sail, so I don't know if I want that option, but that is possible. I have heard stories of students doing the balance beam idea. So, I need clear wind and a way to attach my sail to the ground. I don't need a lot of wind, so I really don't want you guys trying to do this when it's really windy. I just want light wind, because it is somewhat boom length related. If I get up here and do sail chi on a 4-0, right, I'm balancing on a tightrope with a little stick. That thing's going to be quick and really start to kind of be difficult. So a nice long boomed sail is great for this. A little triangle, nice old long boom for playing around to really give the idea. So you'd rather be doing this with your 6-0, I hate to say it, than your 4-0. But if you're going to do it on your 6-0, you also don't want any wind. All right, everybody with me? So, exercise number 1. I'm going to turn my drag board or my piece of plywood headed at about 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Okay? I'm going to pick my sail up. I'm going to balance the triangle, which means I get the harness lines over the universal joint. Right now she's balanced. I'm going to step to the leeward side on the simulator, and with the front hand on the boom, I am going to push the sail with the front hand. Triangle balance, 2 or 10 o'clock, push the boom with the front hand.
I can do that.
Good. So, I pushed the boom with the front hand. What happened? What happened?
Fell down.
The sail fell down. I wrecked the boom. The sail fell down. Move the decimal point. $200 to a $20 move. All right, here we go. So, I am going to turn my drag board to 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Once again, balance the triangle of the sail stuff over to the leeward side. And this time, instead of pushing with my front hand, which made the sail fall, I'm going to push with my back hand, which is going to make the sail rise. So push back hand rise, front hand fall, back hand rise. Ooh, front hand fall, back hand rise, front hand fall, back hand rise, front hand fall. Now, this is what we call boom boxing. Remember the world's worst habit, right? What's the world's worst habit?
Pushing.
Never move your arms together. We always want to move them how?
Independently.
This is the stress. If I stand here and push with 2 hands, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either A, I'm going to push it over, or B, it's going to push me over. So one at a time. Back hand, front hand, back hand, front hand. Oops. Did I mention you need clear, steady wind? Back hand, front hand, back hand, come on. Front hand, front hand. A little bit of boom boxing. How are we doing so far? Now, there is a statement that you learned this week or may have learned in the past or maybe did not learn this week, and you're going to learn it right now. And this is the law in windsurfing. The law is the further you move a hand away from the balance point, the easier it is to make what you want happen to happen. The further you move a hand away from the balance point, the easier it is to make what you want happen to happen, Kevin. So I'm going to stand my sail up. I'm going to put my front hand all the way by the mast on the boom. I'm going to put my back hand right by the harness line. Which hand is further away from the balance point, front or back?
Front.
Front. What? One finger. Check it out. I can push this out with one finger. Easy. Hard. Easy. Hard. Easy. Hard. Easy. Then we're going to move our front hand back by the balance point. I'm going to try to push the sail down with the front hand back by the balance point. Is this going to be hard or easy? It's going to be hard. And with one little finger, I'm going to touch way back on the boom. And is that going to be easy or hard?
Easy.
That's going to be easy. It's going to be so easy, be careful, because casual contact creates issues. Right?
Yes.
So just barely tap. So front hand's hard, back hand's easy. Shit. Stall. Front hand's hard. Hard. Easy. Hard. Easy. Hard. Easy. Hard. Easy. Now, conceptually, the same thing works on the windward side. It's beginner day one, seems like just days ago. And Ned had us step back on the board, balance the triangle, and reach out with two fingers. Which hand's further away from the balance point right now, front or back?
Front.
Front. So with all or very little effort, the sail's gone, right? It takes every ounce of strength you have to pull the sail in. Right? So that's what we do to beginners, because it's not about going fast or doing anything. It's about looking cool and figure out how to sail and keep this thing upright. So then eventually the coach says, does what? Move your hands back. Right? Harley. Now, which hand's further away from the balance point, front or back?
Yes. Both.
Both. So this makes it really easy for me to pull a sail in, and really hard, or really easy for me to sheet out, and I can put the sail anywhere I want. The problem with that is I'm not very sensitive, and I can't feel the wind. I have no idea what's going on, so the instructor says, do what to your hands? Close together, back on the boom. Now, which hand's further away from the balance point, front or back? Neither. Can I pull the sail in easy? No. Can I let the sail out easy? No. So I can pull backhand, front hand, front hand, move around the field leverage, but it's not near as fun. So we go to the leeward side and we box. Backhand, front hand, backhand. But I mentioned you need clear, steady wind. There we go. Backhand, front hand. I should move to the field. Backhand, front hand, boom boxing away, staggering the grip, trying to feel the difference. Now I'd like you guys to look amongst yourselves, look amongst your favorite students, and I want you to pick the most honest face of the group. The person who you're going to believe the most, I want you to look around and send somebody up here. Someone that you really think looks honest. Helmets! Helmets, come on! Precise German engineering, come on. That's a very good compliment from your fellow students, helmets. So Helmet officially from Price Waterhouse is going to verify. Head step off the board. Have we ever met before? Oh, no, it's different. Okay, put both heels in the stand there. Now put your front hand on the boom. Go ahead and put the back hand equidistant. Now, just play with push front hand, push back hand, push front, push back. Push front, push back, push front. So, now Helmet's going to move his front hand all the way up by the mast. He's going to put his back hand by the harness line. He's going to push with the front hand and tell you if it's easy or hard. Easy, and the back hand is hard, yeah. You see his face. Back hand, right? So Helmet says front hand easy, back hand hard. Okay, so Helmet's going to move his front hand back to the line. Don't touch back unless you're ready to die. Take your hand off. Don't touch back. Now push with the front hand. Tell me if it's easy or hard. Okay, now one little teeny tiny tap. Give a little tap by the clue. Crazy, isn't it? So just where we move those hands makes such a difference in where the pressure is in the pool. Okay, so Helmet's been boomboxing away. Stay there on the board. Let go of the sail. Stay on the board. So Helmet's been boomboxing away, and the sail has fallen to where it is right now. What part of the sail is close enough to Helmet that he could touch it without losing his balance? What part of the sail is close enough to helmet?
The foot.
The foot. The bottom of the sail. If we draw a line through the sail itself, boxing works on the sail as well. If the sail falls down and windward and helmet touches behind the balance point on the foot of the sail and gives a little push, it's going to float back up. Oh, so not only can helmet boom box, helmet can sail box. Right? Not only does this work on the boom, it works on the sail. So there are times when that sail goes flying down, if helmet taps it in the right place, it's going to fly back up and he can box himself right back up into control.
He went for it.
Nice. All right, good job. Let's hear from helmet, you guys. There'll be a autograph session following this with helmet. Okay. So, it's cool. Once we get that feeling of boxing the boom, there are times when it drops, we hit the right place on the sail, it squeezes back up beautifully, and then we box away. There's no air down here, right, from the field.
Not attached.
It's not me, man, I swear. So now we got boom boxing with staggered grip, and we have sail boxing. Questions so far? Okay. Now we're going to practice luffing the sail from the trailing edge or the clew. So we're going to turn our board to 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock or totally across the wind, Guillaume. We're going to set that board across the wind so that the sail is perpendicular to the board. And we are going to practice luffing our sail from the trailing edge. Before I do that, let me show you luffing the sail from the leading edge. This is pretty easy. I can do this all day from the leading edge. The trailing edge, if I've never done this before, I may have a spotter hold the uphaul. I'm going to go all the way out to the clew. Now, how far behind a balance point am I?
Long way.
A long way. So this takes very little force, but a lot of motion. I'm going to stare at the boom head, and when the boom head moves like a certain direction, to my right, I will push the clew past it, the sail lifts back up. Sail moves to my left, I push the clew past, the sail floats back up again. Just like driving on ice, you start oversteering, you're going to run back and forth until you crash. Did I say we needed steady wind? See that 15 degrees clock shift? There we go. A little harder than it needs to be. We're just trying to keep that sail up and balanced. A much, much, much more difficult version of this, which you may never want to try, and I wouldn't blame you, because this could be suicide. I'm going to luff the clew into the wind and hold the mast. I am going to luff the clew into the wind and hold the mast. Now, how far behind balance point am I? Not far, not that far. So this is a lot more force and short motion. When the clew moves a direction like to my right, where are you going? Where are you going? To my right, I push the mast past it, lifts back up, clew goes to my left. That's a gust. No matter how good you are, this is difficult because the trailing edge of the sail is not designed, or the leech is not designed to go through the wind. So this could be brutal. No.
You need a helmet and a mouthpiece for that one.
I measured it, you're fine. Don't flinch. So you can see that would be a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult, but it is possible. Under downhauling helps with that exercise. Under downhauling helps with that exercise. Now the next one I'm going to show you is going to be a combination of luffing from the clew, of luffing from the end, but a little bit different. And this is probably one of the most practical things you're going to learn from me on this exercise, and really in general. This is amazing. We're going to practice luffing our sail with our backhand halfway between the balance point and the clew. So I set my drag board up at 3 or 9 o'clock. I get out to the clew, and my backhand is halfway between the clew. The sail's balanced. When the mast comes towards me, I have to pull to make it go away. When the mast goes away from me, I have to push to make it come back. Wait a minute. When the sail comes towards me, what are you doing? When the sail comes towards me, I have to pull to make it go away. When the sail goes away from me, I have to push to make it come back. Why is that weird? When the sail comes towards me, I gotta pull. When something comes towards you, what do you want to do? Push, right? When the sail goes away from me, I have to push to get it to come back. When something goes away from me, what do you want to do?
Pull.
The reason we have so much trouble with the independent arm concept is everything from here forward makes sense, everything from the balance point back does not. So we want to do what the front hand wants to do because that makes the most sense. The back hand wants to follow suit with the front hand because you think, oh yeah, pull, going by push. So we're training our back hand to do the right thing. Now, this also leads to jibes, because I want to get my hand way back on the boom. If I could get my clue hand way back on the boom and keep the motor off till I needed it, that'd be awesome. Water starts. I want nice power on the back to get me up on a water start, but I don't want it to get me up till I'm ready. If I keep my backhand that far back and control the power till I was ready, and then all the ducking moves, duck tacks, duck jibes, all that ability to luff or float from the clue. So we balance the sail from the clue. When it comes towards us, we pull. When it goes away from us, we push. Comes towards us, we pull. When you guys get really good at this, not easy right now, it's not helping. When you get really good at this, we can do it with the front hand. It comes towards us, we pull. This must look so easy. Wait for us, we push. Eventually, you can get the sail to go around you and do it from the other side. Comes towards us, we pull. Goes away from us, we push. There we go. Now it's steady. Down to the other side. Goes away from us, I push. Comes towards me, I pull. Balancing that sail back and forth. I may not control it. Make the sail move around me, or I can move around the sail. If I can control it, push the trailing edge, it's going to be awesome. How we doing? Let's put the rookie up.
You just trying to...
Yes. Start at the clue. Go to the clue. Okay? Now, just put your hand on it and just let us go with the flow.
All right.
Now we're staring at the boom head. Whenever the boom head moves, you got to move the clue pass. He's better than me already. Faster. So he has a lot of clue weight. The sail could be a little bit in my direction to be lighter. You're doing amazing. Look at that. Okay, let's reset. See the look on the face? You guys have no much this is fun. I forgot to tell you this is fun.
This is fun.
Look at his face.
We'll try this after.
You have really good sailing. Look at that. Nice. Okay, now we're going to try the harder one. Let's bring you halfway up. Put your clue hand. Fly the back. You signed a waiver, right? Are you a lawyer? You are a lawyer.
No.
No. Your mom is a lawyer. Oh. Okay. Ready? Cool. Nice. That's ridiculous. I told you. I told you you're born with what? Yeah, so now next thing is try to do that cross-handed. So switch to the other hand. Yeah, now it's that way, right? And then eventually you're going to try to, wait, no. So from here, you're going to turn it off, slice it. Wait, now watch. Well, or we can make it move around you. So let's see what that would be. So if you slice it, you give it a little mini push. It travels a little bit. Now catch up with it and turn it off again.
And then I get back.
Yep. Jim. Jim.
You might want to be...
Yeah,
Evacuate.
It's not me, and I'm going to let him go solo, so this could be ugly.
Oh, no. Sorry, watch out. Yeah, I think that would take quite a bit of
All right, now, so, it's the ability, okay, it takes practice to control, but watch, I'm going to get it to move around. So once it's floating, right, I get it, it's trying to move it up. I'm just going to move a little bit and then turn it back off again until it stops moving.
I can see what you mean, how it'd be nicer if you just had like consistent, really steady.
Yeah, yeah, a nice field right now with steady wind, you guys, this is hours of entertainment.
Wow. I might just buy a sail.
Just for this. Well, then get a skateboard. We do this a lot of skateboarding stuff. Then you have the skateboard, you go out and screw down the skateboard. Okay. You're a kid, you won't know yourself. Big ship. Push. Push. Good. Load it back up. Good. Yes. So, nice. Good job.
Very good.
So now we got boomboxing with a staggered grip. We got luffing from the clue, luffing from the mast, and practicing with our backhand halfway down. How are we doing so far? We good? Kevin, you still with me? You went from standing inattentive to almost sleeping on your knee. So, I'm just waiting to hit Guillaume. Okay, so now we are going to re-look at some tricks. And I'm going to go back to leeward side sailing. So far, all this was done on the beach. So we're going to look at kind of applying this to the water. We're going to re-look at the lee side escape or the helitack, which half of you looked at and half of you didn't. And then at the end, I'm going to show off and do a massive amount of tricks on the beach. But I want you guys to start recognizing what's happening. We're going to start looking at how the triangle's rotating and stuff so that you can see that when you're practicing on your beach or your backyard at home, Keith, you're going to start being able to put these things together. And there are videos of me doing lots of tricks on a simulator like this on YouTube. There's some music. I had a cool one to Eminem, and then they made us take the music off.
No.
But then there's also some on Vimeo too. I think TAK, T-A-K, put one on from Long Island and one on from here with videos of partial sail cheese. So if you can't see it now, you can find it somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to sail on the leeward side. So I am out along having a great day of sailing because every day of sailing is a great day of sailing. And I'm going to turn the board to 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock like I was entering into attack. So I'm going to rake my sail back, drop my front hand to the mast that way, slightest place my front foot in front of the mast and start turning upwind. Before the board gets to 12 o'clock, I'm going to do everything I would do for attack except continue to turn the board. So I'm going to reach my front hand around to the new front side of the boom. At the same time, Carol is taking the back foot up on the nose. I'm going to push the sail out of my way, keeping it back, and step back on the new side. I am now on the leeward side. First thing we want to do when we get to the leeward side is put those heels on the center line, put our heels on the center line so we don't catch the trailing edge. So, once again, front hand to the mast, front foot in front of the mast, reach and step, bring the sail across the back of the board and step back on the new side with our heels on the center line. Have you ever heard of leeward side racing? Leeward side racing? No.
On Hobie Cats.
No. They race on the wrong side? How can you race on the wrong side of the sail? Oh, you sit on the downwind side?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, there is a leeward side racing. In windsurfing, there is not. So your whole goal on the leeward side is not to be fast. It's to be what? Dry, cool, comfortable. I just want to be there, man. I'm happy to be there. I don't need to be going fast. So it's all the pose. Helmut said if we put our front hand all the way up on the boom against the mast, there wasn't much power. So we're going to put our front hand all the way forward, keep that mast arm extended, keeping that mast away from us to sail on the leeward side. If I lean the sail forward, the board will go downwind. If I lean the sail backward, the board will go upwind. Again, turning is not hard. It's going straight. So pick a target, bring the wheel back and front so we get it going straight. A lot of us get to the leeward side and we're like, whoa, this is so amazing. Yeah, there we go. Look forward, I lead the sail back to go upwind, forward to go downwind, and I don't want to be here anymore, so I'm going to unpack. Like the uncle, a bit different. Front hand to the mast, reach and step, push the sail across to the windward side, step back. Nice. If I need power, I'm going to put my back hand right by the balance point so it takes all of my effort to get a little power, just like a beginner. Eventually, or if the wind is super light, like some of the light wind stuff we've been doing, you might move your front hand back a little bit to get more power. It depends. But when you're first learning, it can be all the way forward. But if it's all the way forward and you're getting nothing, then you go ahead and bring it back a little bit. But it depends on the wind. For now, we're going to stagger forward. Okay, so it's blowing 2 miles an hour. And Guillaume steps over to the other side, first time on the leeward side, and he's a little nervous. So he goes ahead and he pushes that sail out of his way. It's a lot better to be over here, keep the sail out of the way. So he pushed on the sail, and even though I'm pointed towards Ned, I'm drifting sideways. Why am I drifting sideways?
You're lucky.
No, helmet, what was it called yesterday? Stalling. Right, stalling. So how do we fix the stall? I did luff. Well, we saw with Carol yesterday, if we're not careful and we let it back out, it'll go too far. So if you find yourself going sideways, push the mast, yank the clue up, condense its anger, and then reload. Stall, off, power. Otherwise, it's stall, power, dismount. Dismount.
When you tack to go onto the leeward side, should you stay like really far forward when you're like Because I think part of the problem is when I tried to luff on the leeward side, it would just like hit me.
So the mast hand has to push the mast further down out of the way. So yes, I do want to step back. I don't want to hide out in front. So I do need to step back. If it's going to knock me over, I need to push the mast down. All the problem is the foot of the sail makes contact on your shin, and that'll actually sheet the sail up from the bottom, which is a ton of power. So sometimes you have to sneak your back foot a little forward, but I'm not going to stand out here. I might have my feet close together or slightly further back, but I can't hide out in the front. Good question. How are we doing?
That explains a lot.
That just explains something.
Explain something. Now, let's get out of here. I'm going to untack. Okay, one more time. Reach and step, and I'm back to the leeward side. So me going around the sail is pretty cool. What's cooler than me going around the sail?
Going around you.
Yeah, going around you. Right on. So I'm going to show you how it works, and I'm going to explain it. I'm on the leeward side, and then magically I am. What am I now?
Good first.
Who first? How do I get out of this? Flip.
Hand to the boot.
Let's look at that again in slow motion, and then I'll explain it. I'm on the leeward side. Okay, this is the leeward side escape. We're the second half of a helicopter tack. This will give you preferred parking at some of New York's finest restaurants, so you need to learn this. All right. In the windsurfing dictionary, a heli-tack is a tack in which the sail goes around you. So this is just a move where we're sailing in a straight line, but we're getting the sail go around us to get the idea. Whenever you're playing with moving the sail around and doing tricks, I want you to visualize your sail a little bit differently from now on, Keith. I want you to picture your harness lines or your center of effort as a little bull with big horns. There are very... There are very sharp objects coming off this spot. If the balance point hits my body, I am in big trouble. So anytime I'm doing tricks, if I hit my balance point, I'm out of luck. But oddly enough, you guys, if the balance point misses me, somehow or another, we might be okay. So as we start learning tricks, we gotta avoid those knives or those sharp objects, because if that impales you, there's no way you're escaping that power. If I can move the power out of the way first and then change the leading edge, the sail will dance around with me. Let's figure out how that's going to work. So, once again, we're cruising along, have a great day, we drop the front, hit the mast, way to the front, mast, toe, back, super weight on the front foot, reach back, hands up, across, step to the new side. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we are sailing on the leeward side. The first thing we're going to do for our escape is bring our back foot forward on the board. The reason is I'm going to step back with my front foot, I need somewhere to go. So those of us that are already in the King Kamehameha stance, you know, when I go to step my front foot back, I'm done. So the back foot's got to come forward, so I got somewhere to bring that front foot. So the first thing we do for the escape is bring the back foot forward and turn it toe inboard. We're going to slice the sail out in front of us with the mast hand, moving the bull or the harness lines in front of the body, and I'll explain this more in a second. Slice means the sail does not change its attitude towards the wind, it moves in a straight line. Now I have to do three things at once. I know, now you guys are out. Three things at once. I'm going to step back with my front foot. I'm going to reach back with my backhand. I'm going to arch my back. Three backs. Step back, reach back, arch the back. And no matter how cool it is, Carol, I am not going to watch the sail spin. So we slice that sail forward. Three backs. Step back, reach back, arch the back. Ooh. Around the cool first, and then the flip. Would you say that the sail is rotating in a big circle, or is it rotating and flipping like a page? More like a page. Too many of us visualize this trick as a circle. Halfway through the circle, if I swing this thing around in the circle, halfway through the circle, how much sail's exposed? All of it. So this is a bit of a trick. Is that I'm never really... Look, I want to do light wind freestyle when it's windy. That'd be awesome. In order to do that, I just don't need to use the sail. If I can keep it off and keep playing with the triangle and keep it out of my way, I can do this when it's windy. We can get consistency. So, we slide the back foot forward. It's a linear rotation. We slice the sail out in front of us. Once I avoid the bull, I step back, reach back, arch the back, get ready for a fast wake. Move first. Now, would you say that my backhand is pushing the sail through rotation or pulling?
Pulling.
Again, would you say that I am pushing or pulling?
Pushing.
Okay, so if I said, Jim, go push your car, this is what Jim's going to look like. Going to lean into the push, push, push. Right, so the problem with the feeling of pushing the sail around is if you assume a pushing posture, and I push the sail around from a pushing posture, as soon as it rotates, I'm going to get pulled right over. So it's really weird to arch on a push. We wouldn't get the car to move at all, right? But if we arch on the push, then immediately we change sides and I'm ready for the counterbalance. But if I go into traditional pushing posture, because it is a push, then I'm done. I'll push it right over. And Carol, we were playing with today where she'd push it down and then wants to pick it back up again. But then she found out if she pushed it down and let go and changed her posture, it actually came back to her. So it's possible that you can make it come back to you if you're patiently waiting. So we're on the leeward side. We're ready for the big escape. We slide the back foot forward. We slice the sail out in front of us. We step back, reach back, and arch the back. The sail goes around our body to clue first. And then the jive flip. Keith, come. I know you have not done this before.
I'll give you my notes.
He's a quick study.
We're joint note takers.
If I put Ken on here, it looks too easy, so we gotta have you. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna do everything for attack. Front hand to the mast. Front foot in front of the mast. Against the mast. Against the mast. Okay, ready? Attack. Good. Push it out of your way. Do not touch the back hand and step back. Heels on the center. See the future. Good. Okay, now you put the back hand on right by the harness line so that if you do push, you get a little power. Back hand right by the harness line. So feel when you push, it takes force to get power. Now slide it back a little further, give it a little push, and you'll start to feel like it's more push, easier power, right? Now, let's let go of that one. Let's play with this for a second. Go with the back one. Let go of the back one. Now move the front hand back. Feel the difference right away. Okay, so as you slide it forward, you get away from that power. Slide it back to the other, so bring it back. Okay, now, how are we doing? Breathe. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. All right, now, first thing we're going to do for the big trick is you're going to bring your back foot forward and permanent toe in. Put it in front of the mast base, step over that dagger board and bring it up to the mast base. It's not so critical on this board that it's your foot's forward, but on a small board, yes. Okay, now from here, we're going to take the sail all the way out in front of you. Don't touch it yet. Now, grab with the clue hand, step back, arch your back. You're going to rotate that direction. No, not pull, push. Push, step, wrong foot, right idea. Step with the front foot, turn your back to me. Turn your back to me. Go the other way. Right idea, wrong way. Now step on the tail with the right foot. Yes. It's going to come around the clue first, and then you're going to do a nice jive flip. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to do it again. What do you mean? You shouldn't be clapping. That was terrible. What are you doing? Just wait a minute. Just give me a second. It takes a minute to build the pyramids. All right. So a couple thousand years. Reach across. And step. Push it out of your way. Step back. Look out the front window. Don't touch back down unless you want to die. Okay. Now, the back foot's going to slide forward. You're going to slice the sail out in front of you. Switch hands. Step back. Reach back. Arch your back. Stare at me. Now that deserves a clap. We're not finished till he's graceful. It's going to take a few minutes. It's crazy that it actually works by changing the pressure. Okay, see the future. Okay. Now, turn the back foot in, slice, reach back, step back, push it around with that glue hand, switch your feet there. No, don't do anything else. I know it feels like there's more that you want to do here. You're just going to hang on with the glue and let it finish rotating. So slice it forward. Good. Now, so you're feeling all that power. Make sure you don't touch it. As soon as the back hand touches, you're like it with the front. So ready? Change. Go. Okay. Okay, again. All right, Andy says. Andy doesn't say you don't get
Sorry
to.
for you.
No, they're amazing. Look, they're all totally amazing. Box over, Jim. Okay, front hand to the mast. Step, cross over, step back, touch. So a little block, sensitive. Okay? Now, it's got to be one hand at a time. So with two hands touching right now, you're going to die. So you've got to trust that once you switch from one to the other, you're going to switch and step the heck out of the way. So throw it, now step and reach and arch. Okay, let go with the right hand, please. No, right. Now, for the flip, make sure your arms are only for a level and slide. Okay, now my turn. So now let's time this step. You can leave your back foot further back if you like it there. I'm going to turn it in. Now watch the rotation. I'm going to take that front foot, step to the back, step right out of the way. Just going to use the footwork one more time. You're doing amazing. You're even at this please. Okay, front hand bounce. Good. Reach and step. Work the fire. Slow down. All right, get your back foot on the center line. Turn it toe in. You can go behind the dagworks if you don't like it. Go behind the dagworks if you don't like it. Okay. Now, throw it forward. Switch. Stare at me. Push. 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 There. No. Just wait. Switch your feet. Wait. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. There we go. That was so light and so effortless, he was sure there had to be 10 more things to do. All right, let's hear it for Keith, you guys. Yay. All right, so looking at the big picture, once again, all tricks are based on that idea of knowing where that balance point is and where it isn't, right? Knowing how to catch it, learning how to make that balance point avoid you, so you know where all those spots are. No matter what's happening, we can do all kinds of stuff, even with the glue floating like we saw. As long as I avoid that bull, it's not going to hit me, we're going to be okay. Right? Avoiding that spot, knowing where that spot is, trusting the spot, absolutely getting the hang of where the spot is, where it isn't, where to spin, where not to push. The ability to throw, float, get the sail to do what you want, get it to come back to you, which hand to push on so it doesn't knock you off, even possibly imagining that you could actually ride around on the sail itself, or the sail could go around without you.
Woo!
Last one?
Just like ballet.
That's called an ankle biter, this one. What's the secret to all throw moves? Look good waiting. Any throw move either comes back to you or it don't. But if you don't look good waiting, you're going to fall off and it's going to do the move without you. And if you do look good waiting and it doesn't come back, you still look good waiting. It's all relative. Yeah, there are lots of ankle biters, lots of throws where we can trust and throw the sail around the circle. It will come back to us. I guess there's no wind down on the ground. It's also trusting in a variety of ankle biters to know exactly where to reach. If I throw it in the right place to reach, it's going to be right there. You end up knowing where it's going to be, right? And trusting the fact that if you know where that spot is, you just reach for it and it's going to float around and it's going to be right there. And there are lots of varieties of these moves where we're trusting. Not working. There's lots of varieties of the moves, of these ankle biter things, where you just have to trust and throw it and chuck it and maybe it comes back.
Oh. You still there, Jim?
I measured it.
You guys turned around.
I measured it.
You're clear by 2 inches. No problem. At least 2 inches.
You can take that knife off the top of the mast now.
Make sure my table light is yours.
I moved back 6 inches then.
Yeah.
I think this even grows to the point where you learn to trust where your pressure is, know where the power is, hit the right spot, make it not kill you. So you know where the sweet spot is, and then knowing when to duck and when to pull so you don't lose your head. And we're right back around. Oh. How we doing?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now remember, I started this with asking you who has seen this and who has done this. This is not something that we do in class, because obviously you can see how long it was with one person, and it takes a long time, and we don't set up 50 simulator sales, and we have small classes sometimes, but this is more about you guys doing the homework, and you guys putting the time in, and trying to get that until the sale never does anything I don't expect the sale to do. I don't know what my sale's going to do. It never surprises me. Let's go in here, I've got a choice of a tap, or an arch, or a step, and then it's going to be okay. You just start planning your saves. All right? Questions? Joseph.
Can you do any of that stuff while the sale is powering the board? Or does it have
Yes.
to be left?
Yes. Well, you're always, it's interesting, you're always doing the rotation stuff with it left, even when it's nuking. So you could be sailing, turn it off, throw it back on, and go again. Now, this you will find interesting too. Right now, when I'm practicing, all of these tricks are based on apparent wind, true wind, because the board's not traveling. So when you're planing, so I can do a lot of these tricks planing and in the middle of jives. But when you're planing, then you have to calculate different angles. Because if I'm going planing and the wind's where your dad is and I'm heading towards you, I don't want to do tricks upwind. So I got to get away from both you guys to change my angles when I'm planing. So, donkey jives and monkeys and things where you spin around on the jibe, it's the same concept. One hand's pushing, but you're dealing with an apparent wind factor. Also cool with using the skateboard. As a kid, skateboard sailing is all apparent wind. You never steer with the sail, you just carve around and learn to throw it. So it can be done. There are lots of varieties. But the thing is, all of us live on the East Coast. Most of you guys, there's no wind on the East Coast. It's not that windy. So it's summer. Go out and screw around. You know what? You're going to get better by doing this stuff. Don't sit around and going to win. You know what? Obviously, I'm not going to do this 27 days in a row. But a couple days, get me into it, and then get some wind days, and then back to this, and, let's program some movement so that we can use it later.
Or Andy, on the water, you get the biggest board you can and a small sail, and then...
Yep. Yeah, if you have access to it. If you don't, you use what you got. Keith Philip has been working all week on his small board and his 6-oar. He's been using pretty big gear. He's going okay. Ken was working on that small board and the big sail. It's a little harder, but you can do it. It's just a slower learning curve. But if you have a choice, take the Queen Mary, put a towel on, and, just see if it'll float, and then grow from there. But I think beach time, man. Beach time, you cannot get enough of this. Bruce.
What are the major moves on the water that the sail sheet transfers to?
Everything. Tacking, jibing, water starting in basics, right? Then in the moves themselves, the helicopter tacks, the sail body 360s, the duck tacks, the duck jibes, any backwinded sailing, any of the pile driver series, or the Upwind 360 series in light wind. So light wind itself, Bruce, and we've been working hard to expand this with Tricktionary so people can see that there are this many light winds. There are more light wind freestyle tricks than any other category. There are 8 ways to do a circle upwind and not move your body or your sail. There are 8 upwind 360s. There's normal, fin first, clue first, fin first. Each one has a duck. Just an upwind circles in light winds.
Your feet don't move.
And your feet don't move. 8 circles. There's actually a couple more, but 8 factual circles. And you get something in light wind. You guys, this has not been the most intense light wind group yet because you guys just don't have that bug. Only a few of you. Normally, the ABK clinic has a lot more serious light wind freestyle addicts. For the most part, Henricus was the only one who's really been doing a lot of it. So this was kind of a different group. But normally you'll see a lot of serious alumni with a bunch of light wind tricks. Just, I got to work on number 7, number 13. You're just kind of listing down the road on all these moves. So you guys, there's a ton of light winds. The door is just opening. But you got to be good at sailing clue first. You got to get good at being backwinded. And as those things come together, then we learn waterline steering, which we haven't talked about too much this week. And then you're all of a sudden into light wind freestyle. You get a whole sport to add to the sport you already like. And then sup wave on the East Coast. You get a nice sup. You ride the surf, light winds. You want to start doing tricks. I do tricks on the sup and the waves too. You just cruise down and a little sail handling, and people are amused. You're still on a big board. It's fun. Who's going to practice someday?
Someday.
Someday, yeah. Like you.
All right, I better see all hands on deck. That's it. All right, you guys, let's go sailing. We'll go out on the water. Theoretically, you can play with Ned doing this a little tiny bit. He's not going to run everybody through, but if you just want to touch it, wants to see, and we'll start going out in the water and get some practice. It's 3 o'clock. You know, tore out is 315, 320. We'll get a good hour, hour and a half of light wind, medium wind practice, and then we'll come watch some video. All right, good, good. More homework. Everybody, more homework.
Thank you.
What? Just with your sails is different. So that would be regular.
I have to admit, I think it was very confusing.
Javier. So what do you think your ABK clinic experience?
In my next life, I want to be Andy Brandt.
Oh, don't we all? Okay.
How about video of your arm?
No,
For posterity, you'll laugh at this in
not
6
allowed.
months.
All right. Well, if you want to shoot it real quick,
What do you do?
aim it at me.
Oh, it's already recording? I believe the move that resulted in this injury was a switch stance double helix eigenvalue venti mocha.
It was a clue first switch stance jibe
Yep,
in shallow water.
with a binomial twist.